use. My kind of biggest concern in the operator is pulling that up with your name written here. I don't know if people would do that or not.
Yeah. Well, I've been on airlines, Qantas to Australia. They have curtains in just about every seat, and people were using them. So I know that people will use them. It's more about getting like enough people to start to make it like acceptable or a trend. And so that's why I think that it's really important that we start out with the earned median, like sent to the important people who really like start these kind of snowball effects. And also having it on a major airline like Delta, having it on every plane is going to make it a lot more like normal.
Would it be built into every seat, or would they be in?
Yeah. So have you ever sat in the exit row in the front where the tray isn't on the seat but it's in the armrest? So it'd be something similar to that. It's how I imagined it if it was installed in the plane. And for the clip-on, which would have like this really grippy rubber grip, similar to like the bottom of Max. Have you ever seen those like the 4 black pads? So something like that for the grip to have it be able to latch on.
Have you thought about any ways maybe to do a little more customer research, to do some kind of little trials to see whether people use it, hand them out for flights and see what happens?
Yeah. So that's what we were going to do, but we had to alter our product multiple times to make sure it was legal. So at first it was hanging from the ceiling, and there's a prototype design page at the end of the packet if you want to see the process. And so we had to change it so it was like not in the way, didn't take up arm space, didn't block the air vents. That was something we didn't think about originally. And so we didn't have time to make a full prototype of the most recent version. We have an original prototype, like a tangible version, but it's not legal. So we haven't had time to actually go out and test it yet. But I'm going on a flight like next week. So.
You can bring them.
Yeah, maybe Colorado. 3 hours.
Ditto is a great presentation. Love the idea. Love the name, by the way. I thought it was great. I'm actually getting on a plane in about 3 hours, so I would buy it today, especially after watching the guy sneeze. Because now I'm paranoid. I'm going to wear one of those things.
I had someone on my last year one of those.
You did? Oh, you saw somebody?
HX9. Person next to me was.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I saw
On an airplane? Yeah. That would scare me so bad.
Oh, that's even a better idea.
Oh, it's terrifying.
I have a question for you. How do you see protecting yourself? So it seems like such a great idea. I assume you can't apply for a patent. And there's also a related question. Have you checked to see if there is a patent on this already? Because it does seem like such a good idea.
There isn't a patent on it already. My dad actually had experience in intellectual property. He worked at Brigham Women's in the Research Development Center, branch. And so he was talking to me about the patents, and he was like, yeah, this is doable. I mean, I believe it's a conceptual patent for like 200, but then for an enabled patent, I think it's like 20,000, which is further down the line. But the thing is, you can sell conceptual ideas with a pre-patent. So the pitch to Delta could go without an enabled patent, or what else? You have to find like a parent company or a wholesaler who kind of like pays the patent for you.
Well, I mean, if you've already shared it with Sky Mall, the idea, you should you should think carefully about that. And I was interested in Delta. Tell me more about. Have you had a conversation with them?
Yeah. So Laz's mother actually noticed something very happy about you doing.
Yes, she's the head of Delta in sales, so we were thinking about reaching out to her more and getting to know more of her opinions and suggestions.
Yeah, but it's probably more like we email them once we have a really complete, thorough prototype.
Because without a patent, I mean, if I was at Delta, I would find it a compelling idea, but then I would make sure that our people, can design it exactly to fit the plane and, to think about that. So you just want to protect your...
The dimensions we used were actually from a Delta seat, from their most popular plane. I actually forget the model, but it's on their website. Something like 82% working out.
Do you know that, so you haven't obviously done any prototype that you've actually taken onto the airplane yet to know if it's stable? Because one of the issues I was thinking is, can it fall and nail the person next to,
Yeah.
do you know how for sure about the stability?
Yeah, I mean, what you can do is you can basically just look up how many pounds of pressure the different kinds of metal can hold. And what we would do, you can't really see it in the rendering because it's too small. Maybe you can over there. There's like, you can see it right here. Let me go to everyone. Okay, so right there's a metal link for support between them. And I don't know what kind of link that's actually called, but there's different ways to find out how much weight it can hold. And I would take into account turbulence and the momentum of everything. So it wouldn't, we'd make sure it wouldn't fall, because that'd be a huge liability, I'm sure.
Yeah, and relying on the passenger to set it up and setting it up right and, not taking out the person next to them.
Yeah.
So is that something, I mean, obviously that's work that has to be done here. Got it. Good, and just lastly, I love the idea if you can do this right, of expanding the brand into pillows and, what was you said, headphones?
Yeah, exactly.
That's neat. Great thinking.
You could just tell us a little more about the Skywalk conversation.
Okay, so I started with Beaver, and then he referred me to the corner of inventions and marketing. And so basically, at first I didn't want to tell them the product idea, but they were basically like, we're not going to take it, that's not even our branch of the business. And so I gave them a brief summary. They're like, yeah, that kind of thing would definitely make it in as long as it's completely legal and it's patented and stuff. So that's great. And then I contacted them. They shared with me their media kit, and that was really helpful. We got a lot of information from that. And so I've just been emailing them, and then John, Bushinger or something, emailed me asking about following up on my phone call from the week prior, but I hadn't had developed enough prototype or anything, because that's what he wanted. He was like, do you have more information on this thing? So that's where it stands right now.
Can you talk about manufacturing costs and process?
Yeah, manufacturing was one of the things that I didn't have a lot of research or background in, and I didn't really know anyone who did. So I used my dad's advice because he has more background than I do. And so I estimated, I think it was $20,000 manufacturing costs, which is pretty reasonable. I forget how I calculated that, but I did buy employees, and I make sure it was above minimum wage and everything.
How are you creating your prototype?
The prototype?
Yeah.
Well, since everything's already on SketchUp, we could use a laser cover at UV Studios. So I could just export it there and then cut it and assemble it. I mean, it'd be pretty rough, the prototype, obviously. We tried to go out and buy something. We wanted it to that when it collapsed, that the blanket itself would fit in, but we couldn't find exactly what we wanted, and we didn't want to make something that wasn't a product. So that's why.
Then how much money are you gonna need to get this?
80,000.
80,000.
Yeah. For 10% equity.
For 10% equity. Wow.
There's a lot of money.
Yeah. And how much is just to create the prototype and do the pitch?
Excuse me?
If you were to break that down and that.
Oh, just the Delta?
Well, just to break it to make sure you've got a product that actually the airlines will approve.
So I'm going to repeat that question. Are you saying what the development would be to create a prototype that would pitch to Delta, or?
Yeah, to take it to the. Yeah.
Probably minimal. I mean, those costs were projected by 10,000 units. So maybe I don't know, $200. So I mean, it'd be pretty much.
One unit is about $14.
Yeah, it'd be relevant.
Might cost you more for the plane ticket to go pitch it.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that. The more. Depends where Delta's located. No, actually.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Great idea.
Good job.
Thank you.
Hey,